Hi, I'm Linda Eastburn, and this is Intuitive Journeys. I'm training a team of intuitive remote viewers, and we are on the hunt. We're stealth detectives using only the power of our minds to get real-life answers. When I first started doing or practicing, learning really how to do intuitive remote viewing, I began without a clue how to really develop this. But eventually I recognized there were certain elements that enabled me to get to this information more easily. One of them was practice, 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 but it wasn't just practice, it was correct practice. By doing it over and over and paying attention to how I was sensing and feeling and when the information was actually correct, it helped me to repeat that process. Now that was what I was doing exercise-wise, but what was really happening internally was I was building some really, really strong neural pathways to be able to get back to a state that would enable me to get this information. When you build something, whether it be an athletic talent, a musical instrument that you're learning to play, no matter what it is, to get really good at it, you have to repeat it correctly enough to build these strong neural pathways. You build myelin around those and it insulates them, and then it's just there. That's when you can own the talent. That's when you can do it at will. That's when you can take your mind there and just simply function in that process. And that's what I did. I did it a lot, and it helped me to build neural pathways with strong myelin where I could just return to it at any point in time I wanted to. So as I teach these classes, I try to help people understand that even though we do these sessions in class, it's really important they begin to practice this in day-to-day life so they can learn also to build strong neural pathways, build lots of myelin around them, and be able to return that at will. Well, it's a beautiful fall morning, and I am just sitting here enjoying it. Flowers are still blooming, and I hope they bloom for a while. I bought some new fall flowers to be able to enjoy them throughout the duration of the season. It's supposed to be kind of a cold winter, so I'm not really looking forward to that, but enjoy it while we can. I like my deck. Like being outside, liking just enjoying it. Mornings are my favorite time of day, so I'm basking in the joy of morning. You know, consciousness is a funny thing. No one has really been able to fully define what consciousness is yet, where it comes from, why we have a sense of our own personal sense of awareness. No one really has been able to nail that down. Lots of theories out there, but no one's been concrete about that. We do know that consciousness allows us to be aware of our physical surroundings. We know that. And there's for good reason. We have to be able to see where we're walking, or we will trip and fall. We have to be able to have our attention and our consciousness on task at hand. And that keeps us safe in the world, it keeps us organized, and it keeps us functional. In a physical body, we need that. Most of the time, our awareness is right here in our physical body through our five senses, understanding the world around us. Now we have imagination, which allows us to plan into the future, and we have memory, which allows us to build on experiences from the past. But most of the time, our awareness is right here in our body in this physical space and time. Of course, with remote viewing, we demonstrate that that isn't necessarily the only way consciousness might be used. You can also project to past events and future events to be able to see things, or even other locations. So space and time is a little different whenever you are doing intuitive remote viewing. We're going to demonstrate that today. It's a really fun exercise we're doing today. We're doing a session where the team does not know where we're going to take a field trip later today. They have no idea. But they're remote viewing it. They're going to write down all that they see and perceive about this location. Then we're going to hop in our cars, drive to the location, make our way through that area, and they'll be able to see if they were really there, if they saw any of this accurately, or if perhaps they were off target and completely somewhere else in the world. But this will demonstrate, both to them as well as to you, that time and space is not necessarily tied to where we are physically. It's only where we project our consciousness and become aware of somewhere else, someplace else, and something else. Enjoy the session. Okay, so we have traveled in our minds to a place that we're going to be in the future. Here in just a few moments, we're going to go to this location. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I will let you discover that when we get there, okay? But I would like to discuss beforehand what you have perceived about it. David, what did you get?
I got a brick exterior. There were shade trees in front and bicycles parked in front of the building. It's kind of an old-timey place, a little bit musty smelling, and the floor was kind of creaky. It felt comfortable though, and it was just a good place to browse some funky, interesting things.
Sid?
It was brown brick, and then I went back and said light brown brick. It smells good, perhaps smells like food. Or sweets. I'm neither comfortable or uncomfortable, kind of a neutral. And then what can be done there immediately, it's like, do people play games here? Is this an arcade or a bowling alley type space? And then that's where my mind went crazy. It's like, no, that's not right. It's not neither one of those. For some people, this is going to be lots of fun and be like gaming-like.
Okay, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in here.
There was a lot of stuff going on there. Okay, and Mark, what did you get?
All brick building. And it's kind of scary, musty smelling place.
Okay. Well, you will discover when we get there kind of what you saw and how appropriate it was maybe for this. And I think it will be very interesting to take a field trip and kind of figure out how it is to remote view someplace that you will see in the future.
This is the hardest one yet.
Really? It was difficult to do that because why do you think?
I think the anticipation of knowing that we're going to go there and
Yeah.
we're going to see all the details.
So is that a lot different than looking for the crystal that we did find somehow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's gather up the papers. We'll put them in the folder here. And remember what you got because you'll be able to test it out soon. David, is there anything at this location that you feel like you remote viewed?
Quite a few things, actually. The first thing when we got here was the trees around the place. I had seen some fairly mature trees here, and indeed there are mature trees. Of course, the brick facade on the outside was there as well. When I stepped in, immediately the dark stained floors were here, wood floors, and I had set a counter, which I saw a long expanse of a counter, which turns out to be the bar here.
So Sid, what do you think about your remote viewing session regarding this location?
This particular session, it seems like I was struggling to pick up on anything, but in reality, I hit a lot closer on this than I have in other viewings. I thought there was a large desk with some computers, it's a bar with 3 computer stations behind the bar. I knew that this was either like an arcade. I said a bowling alley, and I'm standing here next to a shuffleboard. I thought it perhaps was like an arcade with other games, and there's different games around here that you can play and all kinds of sports paraphernalia on the wall. So I thought this was a place of fun, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see all this manifest itself.
Mark, is there anything at this location that reminds you of your remote viewing session?
I've been here before, but it's probably been 10 years since I've been here.
When you remote viewed earlier, I know you said you saw like dark wood.
Dark wood. There's dark wood here. The ceiling's dark. dark brick on the wall and the floor, and all the woodwork and tables are pretty dark also.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you remember a few episodes ago, we looked at finding some money for a woman that her husband is now in a nursing home, and they really needed to find this fairly good sized hunk of money. If you recall, this is what Dylan saw in the intuitive remote viewing session, and I just want to repeat this and show it to you one more time. So let's watch Dylan and see what he got from that. Okay, Dylan, what'd you?
I think very, very, very strongly that this item is in the corner of a room and probably under floorboards.
Yeah.
Like a little, section that's been taken out in the corner of a room. I feel like the building is really old, whether it's an old farmhouse, an old building he owned, a place he worked, something, but only he knows where it's at.
It just so happens we have someone that had access to the home that this man and woman lived in before moving to the nursing facility. And we told him about this corner that Dylan saw and asked him if he would just take a look and see if there was any place there that it looked like something might be hidden or something might have been stored there. And this is what he sent me. Apparently there was a cutout in the wall that led back to a cubbyhole. Now, nothing was there now, but of course they've moved out of the house at this point. But there was a cubbyhole there large enough maybe for a safe or for some documents possibly. We don't know for sure. So even though we can't say there was anything there that would have indicated where the money was, it certainly would have been a good hiding spot. There may have been at one time something hidden there. We don't know. Join us next time when we go looking for a crystal and try to help a guy get some money back. If you like the show, like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.